Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number 1 would be Aladdin, number 2 would be John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, number 3 would be Brightburn, number 4 would be Avengers Endgame, and number 5 would be Pokemon Detective Pikachu. And I only got 2 out of 5 of my predictions right for this weekend. It was a little tough as far as the bottom 3 goes, but the top 2 were very predictable, so let's go over what happened in the overall top 10. Number 1 was, of course, Aladdin. Of course, the Disney live-action remake is going to get number 1 at the box office, but I think everyone's biggest question is how well did it actually do? And it did fairly well for itself. Of course, this box office talk is being uploaded before the Monday Memorial Day, so technically it's a 4-day weekend, but I'm still going by my 3-day weekend standards that all box office talk goes by. So far it has made $86 million over the course of this 3-day weekend, and worldwide that adds to a total of $207 million. So this is a solid start for this movie right now. Not only is it Guy Ritchie's highest grossing opening weekend ever for any of his films, but it's also a higher opening weekend than the last Disney live-action remake, which was Dumbo. So that's already pretty good, because Dumbo didn't do all that well at the box office. The fact that Aladdin opened up higher than that, and worldwide it is already at $207 million, that's a pretty solid start. The budget is around $183 million, so it needs to get to $366 million to be considered a success, but this is not a bad start to get to that spot. But of course, this was all very predictable because Aladdin is something that people are familiar with. So of course, despite what any trailers have, people will show up to this thing and give it a ton of money. Number 2 is John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, making $24 million, adding to a domestic total of $100 million, and that is already the highest grossing John Wick film domestically, which is quite the achievement. And if you look at the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $175 million, which officially makes it the highest grossing John Wick film worldwide. It is both the highest grossing John Wick film domestically and worldwide, which is super fantastic. They already announced that they're going to move forward with the John Wick Chapter 4, and that is spectacular news in my eyes, and these box office numbers only prove that John Wick 4 could make a lot of money, about the same amount of money as this film, maybe even more. I'm super excited for the next installment of John Wick. I can't wait to see how that's going to do box office wise. I can't wait to talk about that in 2 years. Number 3, we have Avengers Endgame, making $16 million, adding to a domestic total of $798 million, $2 million away from getting to $800 million domestically, which is fantastic, obviously. It's still nowhere close to the, I don't even know how much it is, like 940 something around that $1 million that Star Wars The Force Awakens still has, and I'm still adamant on the fact that Endgame will not get that close to it domestically, but the fact that it's the second highest grossing film ever domestically is still pretty astonishing. Worldwide, it is sitting at $2.677 billion, and for those counting, that is $111 million away from Avatar's worldwide total. So it still has some ways to go. I think it definitely will have that number decrease more and more. I'm still a little positive that it will be able to do that. I'm still hoping that that is certain that it will outgross Avatar, because that would be quite the astonishing thing to see. Number 4 is Pokemon Detective Pikachu, making $13 million, adding to a domestic total of $116 million, which makes it $15 million away from being the highest grossing video game adaptation ever domestically. It's $15 million behind Lara Croft Tomb Raider starring Angelina Jolie, and I think next week or the week after at least we will definitely see that happen. So Pokemon Detective Pikachu on the way of being the highest grossing video game movie is not bad at all, especially since in my eyes it's really the only good one out there. Worldwide it is of course sitting at $352 million, which is $52 million over the doubling point, which was $300 million, so this movie is doing very well. They've already announced that they're working on a sequel to this film. I'm not sure how that's going to work. If you've seen Detective Pikachu, I'm not sure how they're going to make a sequel, but hey man, it was a pretty enjoyable experience, and if they can make something work, then I'm all for it. Number 5, we have Brightburn. I thought this movie would make it a little bit higher in the chart because of James Gunn's name and the interesting premise, but I think some negative reviews might have deterred some people from seeing it. It only made $7 million this weekend. Worldwide, however, it is sitting at $15 million, which is very good because the budget is only $6 million, so they've already doubled that and are about to triple it after they make $3 million more, which is pretty great for this film. Even though it's not a huge success, I am still happy that with the budget that it has, it is still doing pretty well for itself. Number 6, unfortunately, was Booksmart. I didn't think it would make it into the top 5, and my fears were proven correct. It made $6 million this weekend. I'm not sure what the budget is really, and there's really no worldwide total right now because it's being distributed through Netflix, and they don't really submit their films to theaters worldwide. They obviously just put it on their platform, so those numbers stars are locked away secret, not sure what it is, but this is a really big bummer. Honestly, I know some people have their preferences as far as what movies they'd like to see, and Aladdin is more of a family film. You can take your families to it, but it would have been really cool for more people to go out and see Booksmart, because I saw that film, and I'm going to try to get a review out maybe Memorial Day tomorrow, but that movie was really great, and much better than you might expect it to be, and it's a little sad that it's not making as much money as it should, really. I think it should be making much more. Number 7, we have A Dog's Journey, making $4 million, adding to a domestic total of $14 million, and worldwide it is sitting at $46 million. Either way you look at it, domestically and worldwide, it is still nowhere close to outgrossing any of the other A Dog's Purpose movies. It doesn't really matter for me that much because I have no emotional attachment to this franchise. I haven't seen a single entry in this series, but so if you're a fan of these A Dog's Purpose movies, sorry, I guess, but you might not see any more of them here moving on forward. Number 8, we have The Hustle, making $3 million, adding to a domestic total of $29 million. The budget is still a mystery to me, but worldwide it is sitting at $66 million, so that's gotta count for something, right? Did it double its budget or not? I don't know. The world may never know. Moving on to number 9, we have The Intruder, making $2 million, adding to a domestic total of $31 million, and worldwide it is only at $32 million. So not that much of a difference between the domestic and worldwide totals, but it's still pretty good to see that this movie did pretty well for itself. It managed to quadruple its $8 million budget while it was in the top 10. I don't think it'll be here next week, but it had a pretty solid run for a low-budget thriller film. And finally, closing out the video at number 10 is Long Shot, making $1 million, adding to a domestic total of $28 million, and worldwide it only managed to get to $38 million. So it wasn't able to cross over its initial production budget of $40, and it wasn't even able to double it. Quite a shame, because this was actually a pretty solid heartwarmer for the beginning of the summer. I hope maybe some more people revisit this film when it comes out on rental or something like that. Maybe it gets more of a cult following, but it's a big bummer that it didn't make as much money as it should have. Kind of like Booksmart right now. But now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. Number 1, I have Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Number 2, Aladdin. Number 3, Rocket Man. Number 4, Ma. And number 5, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below, and if you got your predictions right for this week, you're going to get a shout out right now. Unless you didn't get it right, then I'm sorry. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.